Males mate once a year, but a human, as often as she wants. The ship touched down on Valora's surface with a soft thud, kicking up clouds of shimmering dirt that sparkled like tiny stars. Tom adjusted his visor and stepped out, his boots sinking slightly into the ground. It felt alive, pulsing faintly, as if the planet itself was breathing. He'd been warned about this, but feeling it was different. The air smelled sweet, like honey mixed with something electric. Above him, the sky shimmered with streaks of green and purple, a living canvas that made Earth's sunsets look dull. Tom was here for one reason: lumen dust. The rare energy source powered half the galaxy's tech, and humanity needed it bad. Earth's reserves were running low, and Valora was the only place it came from. The catch: the Valorans weren't keen on sharing. Their glowing bodies produced the dust, but only under specific conditions tied to their biology. Tom's job was to convince them, or find a way to make it work. He walked toward the council dome, a massive structure that looked like it was carved from light itself. The walls glowed, shifting colors with every step he took. Inside, the air buzzed with energy. A dozen Valorans stood in a circle, their tall, slender forms radiating soft light. Their skin shimmered like liquid glass, and their eyes, huge, bright orbs, locked onto him. At the center was High Lumina Kalia, their leader. She was taller than the rest, her glow a deep amber that flickered like a flame. "Human," Kalia's voice rang out, smooth and sharp, like a song with an edge. "You are Tom, yes, the one sent to beg for our dust." Tom smiled, keeping his cool. "Not beg. Trade. We've got plenty to offer. Tech, resources, whatever you need. Name it." Kalia tilted her head, her glow dimming slightly. "You assume we need your trinkets. The lumen dust is ours. It comes from us, from our lives. Why should we give it to you?" Tom took a breath, feeling the weight of her stare. He'd read the reports. Valoran males could only mate once a year, and the dust only appeared when their females reached a peak of satisfaction. It wasn't just a resource, it was tied to their survival. No machines could make it, no mines could dig it up. It was them. "I know it's not simple," Tom said, "but humans aren't like your males. We don't have that limit. We can help you make more dust, faster. A partnership." The room went still. The Valorans' glows flickered, some turning cold blue, others warm orange. Kalia stepped closer, her light pulsing brighter. "You think you can do what our males cannot?" Her tone was curious, but there was a challenge in it. Tom met her gaze. "I think we can try. Humans adapt. It's what we do. Let me prove it." A murmur rippled through the council. One of the Valorans, an older figure with a faint green glow, crossed his arms. "Bold words, human. But words are cheap. Show us." Kalia raised a hand, silencing them. She studied Tom, her eyes narrowing. "Very well, you'll have your chance. But it won't be easy. Our ways are not yours. If you fail, you leave with nothing." Tom nodded, adrenaline kicking in. "I don't plan on failing." She stepped even closer, her glow warming the air between them. "Then let's see what you're made of, human. Follow me." The council parted as Kalia led him out of the dome, her strides long and graceful. Tom followed, his mind racing. He'd expected talks, maybe some haggling. Not this. Whatever she had in mind, it was personal. The ground pulsed harder beneath his feet, and the walls of the tunnel they entered glowed brighter, like they were watching him too. They stopped in a smaller chamber, its walls covered in soft, moss-like growth that shimmered faintly. Kalia turned to him, her amber light steady now. "You say humans can help us. Prove it here, with me. If you succeed, we talk. If not..." She let the words hang. Tom swallowed, but he didn't flinch. "All right. Tell me what I need to do." Kalia's lips curved slightly, not quite a smile. "It's not about doing, human. It's about being. Our dust comes from connection, trust, feeling. Can you give that? He blinked, processing her words. This wasn't just a trade deal anymore. It was something bigger, something wilder. And Tom, with all his human stubbornness, wasn't about to back down. Yes, he said simply. Kalia's glow flared, and the chamber seemed to hum. Then let's begin. Tom stood in the glowing chamber, the air thick with a hum that seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere at once. The walls pulsed softly, their green and purple light reflecting off Kalia's amber glow. She faced him, her expression unreadable, but her eyes held a spark, curiosity, maybe, or something sharper. The deal was on the table. Prove humans could help the Valorans produce lumen dust. And now it was just the two of them. Kalia stepped closer, her light brushing against him like a warm breeze. You think this is simple, don't you? She said, her voice low and smooth. A trade, a handshake, and we all walk away happy. But it's not. Our dust isn't just power. It's us. Our bond. Our life. You can't force it. Tom nodded, keeping his stance steady. I get that. It's not about forcing anything. It's about understanding. I'm here to learn. Her glow flickered, softening for a moment. Learn, then. Our males mate once a year because that's all their bodies allow. The dust comes when we, the females, feel complete. It's rare, even for us. You say humans are different. Show me. Tom took a deep breath. He'd read the briefings. Valoran biology tied dust production to trust, to a connection deeper than just physical. It wasn't enough to try. He had to mean it. Okay, he said. How do we start? Kalia tilted her head, studying him. Sit. She gestured to a low platform covered in the same shimmering moss that lined the walls. Tom sat, the surface soft but alive under him, pulsing faintly. Kalia settled across from him, close enough that he could feel the heat of her glow. Look at me, she said, not with your eyes, with your mind. He frowned, unsure, but he tried. He focused on her, not just her glowing skin or her bright eyes, but her presence. She was strong, guarded, but there was something else there, something tired. Maybe lonely. You've been carrying a lot, he said quietly. Leading them, keeping this place alive. It's heavy, isn't it? Her glow dimmed, just for a second, and she blinked. You see that? I feel it, Tom said. Humans don't glow, but we connect. We listen. I'm here, Kalia. Not just for the dust. For you. The air shifted. The chamber's hum grew louder, and Kalia's light pulsed brighter. She reached out, her long fingers hovering near his hand, not touching yet. You're bold, she said. Foolish, maybe, but bold. Tom smiled faintly. Gotta be. To stand here with you. She didn't smile back, but her glow warmed, spreading across her shoulders like liquid fire. Touch me, she said, her voice a mix of command and question. Here. She guided his hand to the base of her neck, where her spine met a small glowing ridge. This is where it begins. Tom hesitated, then pressed his fingers gently against the ridge. It was warm, vibrating faintly under his touch. Kalia's breath hitched, and the chamber's light flared. What now? He asked, keeping his voice steady. Stay, she said. Be here. Don't rush. He didn't. He kept his hand there, feeling the rhythm of her energy sync with his own heartbeat. Minutes passed, maybe longer. Time felt strange in that room. Then something changed. A shiver ran through her, and tiny specks of golden dust lifted from her skin, floating between them like fireflies. Tom's eyes widened. Is that? Kalia opened her eyes, her glow softer now, almost gentle. Yes. Lumen dust. She sounded surprised, like she hadn't expected it either. You did this. We did it, Tom corrected, grinning. Told you humans are different. She pulled back slightly, the dust still drifting in the air. One speck doesn't mean success, she said, but her tone wasn't cold anymore. It's a start. Nothing more. Tom leaned back, still buzzing with the thrill of it. A start's all I need. What's next? Kalia stood, her glow steadying. Next, you prove it's not luck. This was small, barely enough to light a lamp. We need more. Much more. She paused, looking at him with something new in her eyes. And I need to know you're not just playing. I'm not, Tom said, standing too. I'm all in. Whatever it takes. Her lips twitched, almost a smile. Good. Because this is only the beginning. She turned, leading him back toward the council dome. The dust followed them, a faint golden trail in the air. Tom felt the weight of it. The possibility, the risk. He'd cracked the surface, but Kalia was right. This was just a spark. To make it work, he'd have to go deeper. As they walked, the chamber's walls pulsed in time with their steps, like Valora itself was waking up. Tom didn't know what came next, but he knew one thing. He wasn't leaving without that dust. And maybe, just maybe, he'd found something else worth staying for. Back in the dome, the council waited. Their glows flickered as Kalia stepped forward, Tom at her side. The human has potential, she said simply. A murmur spread through the room. But potential isn't enough. We test him further. One of the council, a sharp-eyed Valoran with a blue glow, stepped forward. High Lumina, if he can do this with you, why not others? We need dust for all of us. Kalia's glow flared, sharp and bright. He starts with me. If he proves himself, we'll see. Tom caught the edge in her voice. This wasn't just about dust anymore. It was personal. And as the council debated, he realized he'd just stepped into something bigger than he'd ever imagined. The council dome buzzed with energy as Tom stood beside Kalia, the faint golden trail of lumen dust still lingering in the air behind them. The Valoran's glows shifted, some warm with curiosity, others cold with doubt. Kalia's words hung heavy. Tom had potential, but it wasn't enough. Not yet. The blue-glowed counselor stepped forward again, his voice sharp. High Lumina, one speck of dust proves nothing. We need rivers of it, enough to power our cities, our ships. If the human can help you, let him help us all. Kalia's amber light flared, her eyes narrowing. He begins with me. If he succeeds, we expand. Not before. Her tone left no room for argument, but Tom could see the tension in the room. The Velorans needed the dust, badly. And now, they were looking at him like he was the key. Tom cleared his throat, stepping into the circle. I'm not here to disappoint anyone. If this works with Kalia, it can work with others. But we gotta get it right first, one step at a time. The counselor's glow flickered, skeptical. And how long will that take, human? We don't have years. Give me days, Tom said, his voice steady. You'll see results. Kalia glanced at him, her expression unreadable, but she didn't contradict him. Very well, she said. We returned to the chamber. Now, the walk back felt different. The walls pulsed faster, like the planet sensed what was coming. Inside the smaller chamber, Kalia faced him again, her glow softer but intense. You're bold, Tom, she said, but boldness alone won't make rivers of dust. You felt it before. Connection. Trust. Can you do it again? Tom met her gaze. I can. And more. Let's keep going. She nodded, sitting on the moss-covered platform. Tom joined her, his hand finding that glowing ridge at her neck again. This time, he didn't hesitate. He pressed gently, feeling the hum of her energy under his fingers. Kalia's breath caught, and the chamber's light pulsed in rhythm with her. Focus, she murmured, like before. He did. He thought about her, not just as a leader, but as someone real. Someone who'd spent years holding Valora together, alone in ways he could only guess. You don't have to carry it all, he said softly. Not with me here. Her glow warmed, spreading across her chest. You say strange things, human, she whispered, but her voice wasn't cold. It was open. The air thickened, and then it happened. More dust. Not just specks, but a steady stream, golden and bright, lifting from her skin like a breeze carrying sparks. Tom grinned. That's more than last time. Kalia opened her eyes, staring at the dust in wonder. Yes, much more. She reached out, her fingers brushing his arm. The contact sent a jolt through him, and the dust flared brighter, swirling around them. The chamber's walls glowed hotter, absorbing the energy. They kept going. Hours passed, maybe more. Time blurred as they sat there, hands touching, voices low. Tom didn't push, he listened, letting her guide the pace. And with every word, every moment of trust, the dust grew. By the end, the air was thick with it, a golden cloud that shimmered like a living thing. Kalia pulled back, breathing hard. This is new, she said, her voice shaky. Never this much, this fast. Tom wiped sweat from his brow, exhausted but buzzing. Told you humans are different. She looked at him, her glow steady now, warm. You are. But it's not just that. It's you. He shrugged, grinning. Guess I'm a natural. Her lips curved, the first real smile he'd seen from her. Don't get arrogant, human. We're not done. They stepped out of the chamber, the golden dust trailing behind them like a comet's tail. The palace corridors lit up as it spread, seeping into the walls, the floors. Velerans stopped and stared, their glows flickering with awe. By the time they reached the council dome, the whole place was alive with light. The council fell silent as Kalia entered, Tom at her side. The dust floated around them, undeniable proof. The blue-glowed councilor's eyes widened. High Lumina. This is enough for a ship, Kalia finished. Maybe more. She turned to Tom. He's proven himself. A murmur rippled through the room. Another councilor, her glow a soft pink, stepped forward. Then we need more humans. Now, if he can do this, others can too. Tom tensed. He'd expected this, but it still hit hard. Hold on, he said. We've got something working here. Let's figure out how to scale it. Smart, not fast. The pink councilor frowned. Smart. We need dust, human, not delays. Kalia's glow sharpened. He's mine to test, she said, her voice cutting through the debate. But he's right. We planned this. No rushing. Tom caught her glance, something possessive in it, but also trust. He nodded. I'll talk to Earth. We can send a team, set up an exchange. Humans help you, you help us. Fair deal. The blue councilor crossed his arms. And if your people say no? They won't, Tom said, confident. They want the dust too bad. Kalia turned to the council. Prepare a message. We request humans, willing ones, strong ones, like him. She glanced at Tom, her glow softening. This changes everything. The council buzzed with excitement, but Tom felt a twist in his gut. He'd started this, but Kalia's tone, her claim, made it clear she wasn't letting go easy. The dust was flowing now, but so was something else, something between them. As the council dispersed, Kalia leaned close. You've woken Velora, Tom. Be ready for what comes next. He met her eyes, adrenaline still pumping. I am. The dome's lights flared, and the golden dust danced in the air. Whatever came next, Tom knew one thing. He'd lit a spark that wouldn't die. The landing platform glowed under Velora's streaked sky as the human transport ship touched down. Dust swirled in the air, not the golden lumen dust, but the shimmering dirt of the planet, kicked up by the engines. Tom stood at the edge, arms crossed, watching the hatch open. 20 men stepped out, their faces a mix of nerves and excitement. They were Earth's answer to Kalia's request. Hand-picked, fit, ready. Tom had started this, and now it was real. Kalia stood beside him, her amber glow steady, her presence commanding. The council lingered behind, their lights flickering with anticipation. The golden dust from their last encounter still clung to the palace walls. Proof of what Tom had done. Proof humans could change everything. "All right, listen up," Tom called as the men lined up. "You're not here for a vacation. Velora needs lumen dust. We're here to help them make it. It's not just physical, it's trust, connection. Mess this up, and we all lose." A tall guy with dark hair raised a hand. "So, what? We're matchmakers now." Tom smirked. "Something like that. Their females need to feel it, really feel it, or no dust. You'll figure it out." I did. The group chuckled, some shifting uncomfortably. Tom didn't sugarcoat it. This wasn't a game. But he knew they'd rise to it. Humans always did. Kalia stepped forward, her voice cutting through the noise. "You are welcome here. Prove yourselves, and Velora will share its gifts. Fail, and you leave." Her eyes flicked to Tom, a silent message. "You set the standard." The men nodded, taking it in. Tom led them toward the palace, Kalia at his side. The corridors glowed brighter now, fed by the dust he'd helped create. Velorans watched from doorways, their curiosity growing. The council had spread the word. Humans were suitable. Now, the experiment was expanding. Inside the dome, the council waited. The blue-glowed counselor spoke first. "High Lumina, the dust levels are rising. If these humans succeed, we could power the fleet again." Kalia nodded. "They will. Tom has shown us what's possible." Tom felt the weight of her words. He'd gone from outsider to cornerstone in days. "We'll need a system," he said. "Pair humans with Velorans who want this. Train them, us, to understand each other. It's not just about dust. It's about both our worlds." The pink-glowed counselor tilted her head. "And you'll oversee this, human?" "Yeah," Tom said. "I'll stay. Make sure it works." Kalia's glow flared briefly, a spark of something. Pride, maybe. "He stays," she confirmed. "As ambassador, as partner." The council murmured, but no one argued. The dust was too valuable, and Tom had proven himself. The meeting shifted to logistics. How many pairs? How much dust? How fast? Tom listened, but his mind drifted to Kalia. She claimed him, in a way, but it wasn't just possession. It was trust, something deeper. That night, a ceremony marked the start. The dome filled with Velorans and humans, the air thick with golden dust. Kalia stood at the center, her glow radiant, Tom beside her. She raised her hands, and the walls pulsed in rhythm. "Tonight, we begin anew," she said, "Velora and Earth together." The crowd cheered, human shouts mixing with Veloran hums. Dust swirled, caught in the light, a symbol of what they'd built. Tom watched it, feeling a rush. He'd come for a deal, and found a bridge between worlds. After, he and Kalia stood on a balcony overlooking the glowing city. The new humans were settling in, pairing off with Velorans eager to try. Dust production would climb. Slowly at first, then faster. Earth would get its power, Velora its strength. Win-win. "You've changed us," Kalia said, her voice soft. "I didn't think it possible." Tom leaned on the railing, grinning. "Humans are full of surprises. You're not so predictable yourself." She turned to him, her glow warm. "You could have left, taken your dust, and gone." "Nah," he said. "This is bigger than that. I'm in it now for Velora, for you." Her eyes held his, steady and bright. "Good, because I'm not done with you, Tom." He laughed, the sound echoing into the night. "Wouldn't have it any other way." Below, the city shimmered, alive with new energy. The humans mingled with Velorans, sparks of dust already flickering in the air. It wasn't perfect. Not yet. There'd be challenges, mistakes, fights. But that's what humans did. They pushed, they learned, they built. And with Velora's glow beside them, the possibilities were endless. Tom looked up at the streaked sky, the dust dancing around him. This wasn't the end. It was a beginning, a story stretching out into the stars. He'd lit the match, and now the fire was spreading. Whatever came next, he'd face it with Kalia, with Valora, with humanity's stubborn, brilliant heart. The platform hummed as another ship approached. More humans, more chances. Tom smiled. Here we go again. Kalia's glow pulsed, matching his rhythm. Together. And the dust kept falling, golden and infinite.